Hi, my name is Janet Marie Stanley, and if we haven't met, I'm the host of Beauty, Balance, and Peace, an online gathering of peacemakers and a foundation for weaving voices of peace. I'm so delighted to be here tonight with my friend and colleague, Mimi Thrasher. And I want to tell you a little bit about Mimi before I bring her on camera. So Mimi is a successful and heart-centered entrepreneur who helps many businesses with their efficiency and, I would assume, with coming to peace. She is also a best-selling author of a book called Success Without Stress, A Roadmap for Busy People. And I don't know any people who aren't busy, so it must be a really big hit. She's also, of course, a sister peacemaker. Please help me welcome Mimi Thrasher.
Welcome, Thank you, Janet. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here with you to talk about peace. It's such an uncommon conversation. You know, we all want it, but we don't always take the steps to implement it into our lives, no matter what that looks like for each one of us. So thank you for allowing me this self-expression to bring it up to people.
I'm delighted to share your voice. And why don't we start with you telling us a little bit more about what peace means to you personally, what it looks like in your life, and what, when you think of peace, what do you think of?
All right, so I'm going to go back a little bit in time. So when I was about 14, I became very present to the atrocities of the Second World War. And I could not understand how one race could not like another race. I don't understand the issues between black and white. I don't get the issues between French and English. I grew up in Quebec. I don't get it. Even as an adult, I kind of understand it. I just don't get that people don't like each other for something that cannot even be changed, because it's not about that physical thing. So I decided a long time ago that I was going to become about peace for the planet, and I was going to, but I didn't know how to cause it. So I really was just a pull for it. Until when I got married, my husband said to me, so are you going to do something about it? Are you going to be part of the solution, or are you just going to hope and you're going to wish for it, hope and dream for it? So I just decided I was going to start to be part of the solution. And the first thing that happened was I distinguished peace for myself. And peace is not all countries not warring, because you can't go onto a battlefield and say, okay, guys, stop fighting. Peace actually lives inside the hearts of those world leaders that declared war in the first place. So whether it was Hitler or it's Trump or it's any other one of those world leaders that are doing things that are harmful potentially to humanity, it's coming because they don't have peace in their hearts. So what does that mean? That would mean then that it's not just, it doesn't just happen to world leaders, it happens to us at a base level, whether it's a husband and wife, whether it's gangs, whether it's two corporations, whether it's two kids on the playing field, on the, at recess, when they're on the playground, a bully and somebody who's bullied or being bullied, that is like at the very simplest what war looks like. And I have this, I'm going to say it's a belief, but this really strong hypothesis that if we could curb, or if we could teach children how to deal with bullying on the playground, we would actually see the end of war when those people become adults. Because when those kids learn how to deal with bullying, that's how they deal with their communication as adults.
Well, it's certainly one of the threads that's been alive in many of the conversations that we've been having this month, that peace begins within.
So so if the child that's doing the bullying could actually get the help that he needs to stop bullying, and the child that's being bullied can get the support they need to diffuse a situation, right? All of a sudden we have the makings for a whole brand new way of having peace on the planet 40, 50 years from now. But how do you deal with peace now would be the question, right? Because we've got so much turmoil going on. For me, it's about having peace in your heart. And sometimes it takes distinguishing, for me, those things that don't give me peace. And figuring out, okay, well, why doesn't it? Or what does it look like to have peace? Or something like that. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Oh, it's a very funny example because I was recently divorced a few years ago, and it happened to have been the best divorce on the planet. It was the best divorce. I'm telling you, it was mutual the whole way. We had no children and we had no major assets. And I keep saying I should write a book about it, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But we have this one bone of contention. And the bone of contention happens to be with his name. His name that he gave me is Thrasher. And I keep that name. You introduced me as Mimi Thrasher. I want to keep that name. And when we first decided we were getting divorced, we had a discussion. We created our separation agreement. It's the first thing we did. We lied down in the cuddle position, created our separation agreement. And I said, I'd like to keep the name Thrasher for professional or for public, when I'm doing things publicly. And he said, okay, no problem. This particular day, Janet, he came home after spending time with his family or with some friends, and his voice was loud. I wouldn't say quite yelling, but loud. And he's telling me that I'm not allowed to use the name Thrasher. I have to give it up. And I just said to him, well, you don't own it. It's not yours. There's like hundreds of Smiths in the world. Like, they don't have an issue. He said, it's not your name. You can't have it. And things start to escalate, and I can feel this turmoil inside my heart. Like, I'm getting activated, when you're getting upset and you're getting all, and I'm just saying to myself, okay, Mimi, be the peace you want to see in the world, be the peace you want to see in the world. And at the same time, he's talking, so it's occurring now like, wah, 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 wah. And I said, be the peace you want to see in the world. And that, to me, that wasn't just listening to what he had to say and glazing over. That's not real peace. That's being submissive, or that's being
shutting down somehow.
Shutting down or blocking off. It's not real peace. But I had this moment, and all this happened very fast inside this conversation, but I had this moment where I thought back to the dentist. It's funny, the dentist, divorce and dentist, both D's and both a little bit painful. And I can remember lying in the dentist, a few months earlier, and I had about what seemed to me like 1,000 tools in my mouth and my self-expression taken away. And I was just waiting for the pain of her hitting a nerve with a needle or something like that. So tense. And it was the kind of tension that just automatically happens every time I walk into the dentist. It's not like something that I'm just waiting for the pain, just waiting for the pain. And I just said to myself, Mimi, you could relax. And I went, oh, really? I could relax? Yeah, you could relax. I took this deep breath, and I could feel myself relax a little bit, and I could feel myself relax. Well, in that particular appointment, I didn't relax the whole way, but I really got that in times of conflict, defensiveness, hurt, turmoil, all that I could actually force myself to relax. So now let's go back to the kitchen table with Alan. And Alan's sitting there telling me what I have to do and what not to do. And I said, Mimi, be the peace you want to see in the world. And I take a deep breath and calm myself on the inside, relax. Now, am I still triggered? Yes, I am. But I give myself an opportunity to be with exactly what he's saying. Now, I understand where he's coming from, because our world is set up for two people that are divorcing to be mudslinging, to be fighting, to be about me and myself and I, not to be concerned about the other person. Like, I understand that. So in that moment, I just said to him, you know, we talked about me keeping the name. How's about you give me some time to consider it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all he needed, was to be heard and gotten, and he stopped.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
in that moment was able to bring peace to him, because he was getting closer to what he wanted, and I was diffusing a situation before it occurred.
Mm-hmm.
But it took something to be the peace that I wanted to see in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to be who I know myself to be, both as a woman and as peace.
Mm-hmm. I think what you're naming, Mimi, is this, that peace is a choice, that when we're conscious of how we are and how we move in the world and how we interact with other people, we can choose to be more peaceful. And it does make a difference.
Yes, and it is a choice. It's not something that just happens. You know, we were blessed with this fight or flight response. Our brain only knows fight or flight. So it takes making a conscious choice to be peaceful, to be loving. You know, being peaceful and loving is easy in the good times, but it's a choice when it's not an easy time, or it's not a good time, or something doesn't agree with that. And that's the other thing, besides the fight or flight that we've been given, is the power of choice.
Mm-hmm. I think it's there's a beautiful Mother Teresa quote where I can't recall it all, but it's something like, people will be unkind, be kind anyway. People will not get you, be kind anyway. People will get upset, be kind anyway. She's talking really, I think, about our power to choose. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing to put on the table. Thank you, Mimi.
You're welcome.
Now, one of the ways that you bring peace into the world is that you're a writer, an author, and you have written a book called Success Without Stress.
Yes.
And I think you have a copy there that you could show us.
I do.
Yeah. Now, it's a roadmap for busy people. I certainly have been a busy person my entire life. So I love that you're sharing some tips and tools for people that are busy to find more peace.
Thank you. So when I realized that my life purpose was about having people have peace in their heart, I also realized that it's probably not a reality that everybody's going to become peaceful and be peaceful all the time. So as an entrepreneur, what I try to do is impact people's peacefulness. And I chose entrepreneurs because they are extraordinarily busy. They're pulled from all different sides and ends and stuff like that. And having always been really strong with my organizational skills and time management, I wrote the book called Success Without Stress. And it enables me to support people with having more stress-free lives, so their time is freed up and they can actually spend it doing what they got into business for in the first place. I love making that difference where people get more time for themselves and to do the things that they love, because when they're doing the things they love, they're left with nothing but peace and love in their heart, as opposed to the have-tos of life, right? There's always the survival of life, but we can do it with a smile on our face.
Beautiful.
And you know, one of the things that I'm also out to cause is that if people are more peaceful, even in their day-to-day work lives, and they go home at the end of the day from work with more love and peace in their heart, then when they're interacting with their children, with their spouses, with their friends, with their family, whoever that is, they're more peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a mushroom effect or a ripple effect, right? As it goes out. When you're peaceful in your day, you bring it out to the people in your lives, and it just spreads. It spreads.
I completely concur. I absolutely have experienced that. And it sounds like you're really passionate about helping people find more peace.
I am passionate about helping people find peace in their lives. So my offer to people is that if you email me at mimithrasher@gmail.com, which is below this interview, I'll send you the top 10 rules for time management. And the first 3 people that email me will get a copy of my book.
That's very generous. Thank you so much, Mimi. I'm sure you will get lots of requests. So we're coming up to the end of our time together tonight. Is there anything in closing that you'd like to share with our listeners tonight? Any maybe final quotes or people that really inspire you, or something that's really opening up for you that you'd like to share?
I would take the time, and I'm not saying to do this daily because I know for some of us it's hard, but at least one time, set aside a half an hour and be with yourself. You could be sitting in the bathtub. You could be just away from everybody and everything, and look into your heart and remember what's important to you as a human being on this planet, and then go out and fulfill on it and fulfill on your life's passion.
It's a beautiful way to close, remembering to spend time looking within and contacting into our hearts and knowing what it is we're really here to do and to share. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mimi. I'm so grateful for the work that you're doing in the world, and happy to be able to share this journey of peace with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to share peace with you and with your listeners.
You're most welcome. On that note, we will close and say goodbye just for now. Take care.
Bye.